Scott Golden Opportunities Coaching, and the @PO Perception Twitter account. Welcome if you're new here. Today we're going to talk about you must add value. One of the most important things that I am really helping people to do is find ways to add value to the individuals in their life that are meaningful and also add value for professional purposes. Why adding value is so important is we've changed the world we live in. Used to be that experience, either experience of just being present, if we're talking about relationship, or experience as in number of years or skill set, mattered most when trying to accomplish a goal professionally and personally. Now, we live in a world where there's so much competition. Everything is posted on social media, jobs are posted there, people's ability to date is quicker than ever before, people's ability to make relationships and even rent property and all of that is really, most of it's done very quickly. And so one of the things that people really value is the value that is added to their experience. If you're renting a house, it's not just enough to rent a house any longer. Instead, one has to rent a house that's in good shape and has decent amenities. If a person is trying to get a job, it's not the resume that gets them the job, it is the value of that they're going to bring to the company. If a person is going into a relationship, it's not just having a warm body, it's the level of support that a person is going to gain from the relationship itself. So adding value is super important. So in order to be able to add value, in order to be able to bring value to a situation or relational situation, one must be able to understand their value before trying to promote themselves. Now, self-promotion is also very important in value adding because you have to be able to articulate that which you're going to bring to something in order to be able to find a way to add to the world around you and or to add to the world in general. When someone can advertise themselves and market themselves properly, and even a social relationship is about value added. In other words, if somebody is in your life who does not add value to your life, always is taking things from you, or always is asking for help, or always is asking for you to loan them money, and we all have friends like that. Some of us have family like that. But there's people who don't add very much, and if you notice, individuals don't stay around them very long. So here's the thing that you have to think about when you are adding in your own life. What are the most valuable things you can give? Some people would say money, other people would say support, other people would say time. And here's the thing, one of the most valuable commodities that people undervalue is time itself. We all have the same 86,400 seconds every day. How you use your time is a direct relationship and sign of how you value your life and the people in it. A person who is constantly, for example, playing video games or surfing the internet or watching Netflix values their own happiness and entertainment most often more than they value personal relationships. Why? Because they're choosing to engage with machinery or a hobby more so than the relationships for people in their life. A person who values people is going to be more likely to make time, run someone to the store, spend time listening to them, spend time in support of them, take them somewhere, spend time with them, take them to dinner, go to dinner with them, or do whatever. A person who values money is going to work super hard, maybe take 2 jobs, 3 jobs, have a side hustle, run their own business, or do things that allow them to expand their financial value to the world. A person who values peace or a person who values health, they're going to have different habits than a person who values conflict or power. So here's an interesting thing. You get what you value in life. And what you have in your life will show you what you value. Now, if you want the quality of your life to change, you have to change what you value and the energy you put toward your value score. Value score meaning the things that you value that are meaningful to you. Now, those things change over time. In other words, how I look in a pair of jeans might matter to me a lot when I'm 16, probably won't matter to me so much when I'm 46, at least I hope not. How I, relate with other people is going to matter to me a great deal in a social setting where my friends or family or potential business clients are. Not going to matter to me so much if I'm going to my favorite deli for a piece of peanut butter pie and a sandwich. So, what we value is also determined by our circumstances and surroundings. You have to know what you value most. And that also comes down to human needs psychology, which is the 6 core values that a person has: safety, variety, significance, love and connection, growth, and contribution. What you value in your life in terms of those needs will determine how you get your needs met, but also how you live your life. So if you're looking to shake up your life, shake up where your focus is and shake up what you value. If your life hasn't been working for you, if you've run up against a lot of trouble, if you've run up against a lot of hardship or disagreements or people taking you for granted, its chances are the things you value, such as one thing that I see a lot of clients value that doesn't serve them very well, is popularity over feeling good. In other words, they value what someone thinks of them more than what they think of themselves. The popularity score is higher than the self-value score, and that creates challenges in social relationships. Similarly, if a person values money or monetary gain over quality of service, chances are this will lead to a bad professional reputation, because that means one is willing to cut corners in order to make more money, thereby increase their value. Now, how does one determine what they value? The answer to that is relatively simple. What brings you joy? What brings you fulfillment? What allows you to grow? And what allows you to feel like a part of something greater than yourself? Those are the things that you value. Now, it's very important to be able to articulate these values to the people in your life, or if you're entering a new relationship, to a potential partner, because the success or failure of relationships has an abundance to do with the value scores of both parties being at least similar, if not extremely so. Now, it doesn't mean they have to be identical. Matter of fact, it's very rare to find two people who have exactly identical value scores, because that takes away individuality. But when you add value to a person's life, you're looking for ways to help and serve them. The greatest way to add value to any person, the greatest way to add value to any situation, is to be in a place of service in relationship to the reason you're there. Now, that doesn't mean get out of balance. And so service is I'm adding value and I feel as though the value I'm adding is at least appreciated or given some degree of respect. Now, if you're adding value to something and you're not getting something back from it in terms of reciprocity, that becomes charity. And so there's a difference between a value-added exchange and a charitable contribution. Now, this is important because a person has to go into any act of giving with the willingness for it to be charity, without expectation, but understanding the value that if it's not a charitable giving experience, and one can give with charity with their time, one can give to charity with money or physical tangible belongings, one can give to charity with knowledge. There's a million ways to give to a charitable exchange, but the interesting thing is, if you're expecting to get something back from something and the only reason you're doing it is to gain from it, that becomes problematic, because if a person doesn't understand that your value is in what you will receive back, or if a situation doesn't have the ability to give back to you, you will not see the value in continuing to do the action. Now, this is where most people get overextended. People become overextended because they think that the things they value are the things that other people in their life value. And oftentimes that is the case, but that's not always the case. The assumption, though, that it's always the case, thereby creating a series of expectations wherein we're going to do the same things and view the world the same way, is extremely problematic, if not pain-inducing for most people. So, the value you add should be from the place of I can help, I can serve, and if I get something, that's a bonus. The people who live the most successful lives in the world expect nothing, give from a place of abundance in the ability to give, but also see their own value so that they understand if they're being taken advantage of. Now, when a person is taken advantage of, pulling themselves out of the situation as simply as possible, unless a person has decided that they're willing to overgive in order to be a good person, in order to be a good Samaritan, for a belief of their convictions, and it's not taking away from their ability to meet their basic needs or to meet other obligations. That's perfectly fine. But most often what happens is people get into trouble because the expectation that someone is going to understand their viewpoint, understand their value, and thereby create an opportunity for them to be given back to can be exceptionally problematic. This doesn't necessarily mean it's a good or bad thing. It just means ultimately that we have to really see why we're trying to add value to something, how we can continue to study and grow to be able to add the value that matters to us, how we can also be authentic within ourselves and say, I don't want to do this anymore, or this doesn't serve the agenda or good balance or extreme value. This doesn't serve my purpose. This doesn't serve forward motion. Now, the reason it's important to add value where you can but remain in balance is that we all only have a certain amount of energy. The act of giving is going to give you, no pun intended, more energy, but if you're always giving and not replenishing yourself, there will be times where you're burnt out, there will be times where you're frustrated, times where you're depressed, times where you feel taken for granted, and so it's important to make sure that the give-take mentality of what you're trying to accomplish becomes to you a central focus in the act of giving at all. Before we started this YouTube channel, I and my team looked very deeply at the value we could add, and right now we have a small, modest subscriber base. In a year, we're going to have more, but we're still going to add the same value. Ultimately, with the goal of helping more people, serving more people, getting more clients, but again, adding value to their lives. If I, as a business owner, don't add value, then I'm not in business very long. Even if you sell tangible goods or products, if you don't add value from the place of your mindset, then you won't be in business very long. If you don't add value to your relationship, you'll find yourself single. In every area of life, adding value is central to the needs of keeping the relationship going and growing. Now, when a person doesn't know how to add value, another way to say is, how could I serve the goal here? How could I serve the goal? And if I don't know what the goal is, how can I clarify the goal in order to be able to serve it? It's not so much serving a purpose, it's serving the power of progress through understanding the purpose and using gifts, talents, and abilities to further that end. Even in a relationship, if the goal is unity, if the goal is closeness, if the goal is even something tangible like having a place to stay, it's always about adding value to the goal itself so that a person can feel complementary, not complete. I almost stumbled and said complete there, but it's not about completion. And any time that one believes they are incomplete without adding value, that means the act of guilt or negative emotions is at hand. It's important to make that distinction because most people get into a situation now and again where overgiving becomes a habit because they think it's the only way they can add value to someone's life or to their own, as if to barter in order to get certain people to behave in a certain manner. This is dangerous because it doesn't end well virtually ever, but it doesn't mean you have to be that way forever. So it's extremely important to know the why a person is doing something before becoming involved in the pattern or the behavior at all. So as I close for today, I remind you of a couple things. This is the Golden Opportunities Coaching channel. If you'd like more information on my services, please see our About Me section. Send an email to my team. Secondly, we are in the middle of a Progress Tribe subscriber drive. Once we hit 100 subscribers, we're about a little bit over 40% of the way there. Once we get there, we will be giving away a $350, actually $400 value with the bonuses we're going to offer. And so in the form of a monthly coaching package with me. So I want you to think about something. If you told 10 people about this channel, you could get us closer to that goal. The quicker we get there, the quicker we can set out another subscriber drive hit. And with each goal we set, we're going to be giving away services to lucky subscribers. So that's going to be one of the commitments we make. I remind you, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.